From the love of liberty in the fires of hope and prayer, with boundless faith in our destiny, we solemnly declare, side by side we stand, islands of the blue Caribbean Sea. This our native land, we pledge our lives to thee. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation.
Almighty God, most beneficial and merciful, Creator of the universe and embodiment of divine wisdom and light, we come before you with thanksgiving and praise. May your will be done in our nation as it is in the heavens. Please bless our political leader, party officials, activists, and all the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Give us the grace to always see good, be good, and do good, and the courage to serve the people. Protect us as we stand against injustice and iniquity, and inspire our endeavors to find the right solutions to the problems that are affecting our fellow citizens. Grant that we may always work together with humility and respect for the greater happiness of all and the honor and glory of our country. Live from the front lines, this is the United National Congress Monday Night Reports, streaming on all platforms.
I am here with my brother, Councillor Dudnat Meru, from the electoral district of Avocat, San Francisco North. Today, we will be taking you through this evening's proceedings as we continue championing the causes that affect all of us so dearly. We do so in solidarity with the people of our country who has been feeling a sense of hopelessness and helplessness as the lives of our women continue to be lost to criminal elements. Tonight, we have a powerful lineup of patriots who will tell you how the opposition UNC have been fighting on your behalf. Our first speaker is a son of the soil of Fyzabad. He represents the electoral district of Saparia West, Fyzabad. His name is Jason Ali. Councillor Ali serves as the chairman of the Fyzabad Executive. He is currently a teacher and offers and gives free extra lessons to students in need. Join with me as we welcome Councillor Jason Ali.
Yeah. a message to the nation. Put the guns them down. Now we want some understand. Put them down. Put them away now.
Good night, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to Fyzabad. I welcome you as the Councillor of Siparia West Fyzabad and also as the Chairman of the Fyzabad Executive. Being from Fyzabad, I will speak on 2 points. Residents, if you are aware, due to this government and the closure of Petrochin, the community of Fyzabad is on a decline. When we had our oil company booming, Fyzabad was developing. Now we have the closure of Petrochin, we are seeing a decline in Fyzabad. If you look at our youths today, they are unemployed. If you look at our infrastructure that Petrochin once maintained, it is no more. And why? It is due to this government and their closure of Petrochin. Fyzabad needs some renewal. We have potholes. Anywhere you turn is a pothole. Some of these potholes and them deep enough you can bury the PNM in these potholes and them. Brothers and sisters, our local economy in Fyzabad is declining. We have less economic activity. Why? There is joblessness in our society. When we look at what Fyzabad was and what Fyzabad is now, due to the closure of Petrochin, it is two totally different communities. It is now up to the Siparia Regional Corporation to take some of the burdens away. It is up to the Siparia Regional Corporation, our UNC controlled Siparia Regional Corporation, to assist our burgesses. But how can we assist our burgesses when we are not getting the resources from central government? At Siparia Regional Corporation, we have 6 backhoe and only 1 working. Why there is only 1 working? Because we are not getting the finances to have these equipment operational. Our garbage collection, we now have to go into communities where Petrochin once served. And how can we assist our burgesses? We are strained at the Siparia Regional Corporation. We are strained because we are looking for that financial support. But I can tell you, my brothers and sisters, the electoral district of Siparia West Fyzabad, we are a strong electoral district. And though we have many challenges, I can assure you, my brothers and sisters, that whenever that election bell is called, the seat of Siparia West Fyzabad will return to the house of the rising sun. Because in Siparia West Fyzabad, we are strong, we are UNC, and we are proud. We support one great party, we support one great leader. So I am urging you, I am telling you, and I am asking the Prime Minister, call our elections now, call the local government elections, and let us show you how strong the United National Congress is in the constituency of Fyzabad, in the electoral district of Siparia West, and in Trinidad and Tobago. I thank you.
This is a message to the nation. Put the guns them down.
Thank you very much, Councillor Jason Ali, a man who is a struggler and a fighter for the people of Siparia West Fyzabad. A man who stands out in the Siparia Regional Corporation and make representation on behalf of his burgesses. Now, as he said, local government elections coming soon. I hope all you're ready. You know we have this habit. I ain't like this one. I ain't like that one, I ain't like the next one. But I'm sure nobody here ain't like the government we have today and Keith Rowley. I'm sure about that. So if you're sure you're like the PNM government, make sure and come out and vote for that local government election. The next person I'm about to introduce is a man who hits the pavement and hit the Baba Green on the road. That gentleman walked from south to Port of Spain. He has traveled the length and breadth of this nation, calling out the PNM for their neglect and disregard for people. He is not afraid to call this wicked government to account for their waste, mismanagement, and corruption. The latest being Balize House. Please welcome to the UNC Monday Night Report, Mr. Victor Roberts, a true warrior.
This is a message to the nation. Put the guns them down. Now we want some understand.
Pleasant good night to each and everyone in Fyzabad. Fyzabad is the place when they finish with the PNM, they just call an election after that. Take note. Pleasant good night to each and everyone, all protocol observe. As our Councillor Jason Ali mentioned to you about the decline in Fyzabad, I want to just mention a few things about the rural communities in Trinidad and Tobago. When we look at the policies that Keith Christopher Rowley government has brought to the table, which is the rich getting richer so that the scrums can fall to the ground of the poor. But I want to ask Fyzabad tonight, which one of the rich men who get rich under the PNM will come into the rural communities and hire some of you to come and do any type of services in their community? Would the rich man come into the rural communities and take any one of you and carry you to do 100 meters of box drain? And the answer is no. The rich will always look to the rich contractors, the rich businessmen, to do whatever they have to do. So what I'm saying to you tonight, ladies and gentlemen, it is the policy of the PNM to starve the rural communities and bring you to your knees, where you will have to depend on a handout or a hamper, where they can bring you to their offices and register you and threaten you that if you doesn't support the PNM, then it's starvation for you. I want to tell you tonight, under the United National Congress, we had seen where the political leader and the team throughout the tenure of the UNC always bring policies that will help you on the ground come up. You had a better life under the UNC. Your children were going to school. You had book grants. You had a lot of initiatives in relation to the educational sector where you benefited. But today, under Keith Christopher Rowley, we have seen where the policy of crime and criminality is what rules Trinidad and Tobago. We have seen government ministers with allegations of corruption. We have seen government ministers who continue to benefit from the public purse. And to the end of the day, when you are in crisis and you expect the leader of the country to stand with you, you will recognize that he is in Barbados having a good time, eating shrimps and drinking scotch while you continue to bleed in this country. We must send a message, and that message must go out from Fyzabad, that the United National Congress intends to take power of this country to bring an ease to the hardship that you continue to see under the PNM. Ladies and gentlemen, you must remember all that you have been through under the Keith Rowley administration for the last 7 years. You must remember, ladies and gentlemen, the sufferation, the pain, the agony that this government has brought you to your knees. We have seen in Labre and in Fyzabad and in other rural communities where people cannot earn a living. And in some case, where you do have a little job, you have to go on your knees like those in Lake Asphalt and beg Colin Imbert, the finance minister, to release some funding that you could mind your family. We have seen CPEP, the nepotism, where even in the constituency of Labre, we have a former minister who earns a living from several CPEP gangs. We have seen in Petrochin, which is now Heritage, we have seen that people as far as Diego Martin, Port of Spain, come down to the Southland and take up all the position that you who lives within the rural communities cannot benefit from any state facility within the Southwestern Peninsula. I am saying that as South people, you must recognize that the enemy to your progress, it is the PNM. I am saying that you as South people must recognize that the PNM is not your party. When you believe that the PNM, when Keith Rowley came in 2015, and he said to you that the playing field, he would level it because he said the black man is behind. Today, ladies and gentlemen, the Keith Rowley administration has not only sent the black man further, but he have sent whole of Trinidad and Tobago backwards than where we were ever before. Today in this country, you the people of the Southland, you have to stand up and make your presence felt throughout the length and breadth of this country, that you are no longer prepared to tolerate the behavior of Keith Rowley and his cabinet for the rest of the time that is available. My encouragement to you tonight is, Fyzabad people, I want you to stand with your Fyzabad team, stand with your MP, Dr. Lackram Bodoe, and make sure and bring victory to the United National Congress whenever an election is called. I thank you.
Yeah, this is a message to the nation. Put the guns them down. Cause we want some understand. Put them down. Put them away now. Understand.
Thank you very much, Mr. Victor Roberts, the driver of PBL 8529. It's a white B15. Attentive vehicle, please. Driver of PBL 8529. Thanks. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen. Our next speaker has been offering dynamic representation to the people of Pointe-à-Pitre ever since he was elected as a member of parliament in 2015. He is one of the 3 deputy political leaders, our shadow minister of energy, and he serves as the opposition chief whip in the House. Please give a warm welcome to the member of parliament for Pointe-à-Pitre, Dr. David Lee.
Everybody was kung fu fighting. Those kids were fast as lightning.
Thank you.
In fact, it was a little bit frightening.
Thank you. Thank you. I want to say before I start, it's lovely being in Fyzabad. Dr. Bodoe, I want to thank you for the welcome that we have had so far to your Fyzabad family. Political leader, the Honorable Kamla Persad-Bissessar, my parliamentary colleagues here tonight, and the lovely people of Fyzabad. But I must say tonight, I want to give thanks to my family in Pointe-à-Pitre. Thank you. I will be very brief here tonight because we have a bumper set of dynamic speakers. I see the lion is in the crowd. I don't know, and Simba is here also. I want to say my team would be short but sweet, and it's about another mid-year review of under-budgeting by this wicked government and the Minister of Finance. Now, you know, Wednesday, on this week, we have a mid-year review, and Imber, who's the Minister of Finance, is coming to ask for an additional $3.8 billion of your money. In October last year, his budget was based on a $57 billion budget. So on Wednesday, he's coming to ask Dr. Moonilal and MP Saddam Hosein to give them his vote for additional $3.8 billion. Should we do that? That's right. And I want to tell you what that $3.8 billion is for. And Saddam will get into it a little bit deeper to here tonight. The $3.8 billion that Imbert is asking for, you know, to do what? To pay lawyer fees. To pay lawyer fees, to pay telephone bills, to pay TNTech in arrears, and to pay loans that have been in arrears. That is what he's asking additional money for. Now, we should have asked for that money based on his budget back in October, in addition to the $57 billion. But what he is fooling you and fooling the population was he is under budgeting to show that when he brought his budget back in October, that they would have had only a deficit of $1.5 billion. But today, ladies and gentlemen, with the additional $3.8 billion that he's asking for, he's asking you to help him pay for, his budget deficit is going to be about $5 billion additional. He keeps fooling the population, and we keep falling for that. I want to say to Imbert, and I see today in the papers, he's having a little tit for tat with Professor Roger Hussein. Now, Roger Hussein, professor, is not a UNC. I know he lives in Gasparillo, but that doesn't make him a UNC. And Imbert is angry. Angry Imbert slams UE economists, or the Professor Roger Hussein. Now, Roger Hussein is a well-respected economist. He's an economist. Imbert is an engineer, but he's running Ministry of Finance for the last 8 years. That is why this country is in the state that it is under Rowley and Imbert. So he has you know, the PNM people they vex with you. Once you do not agree with them, they just get angry. They alone must run this country. They are the only set of people who can have a vision for this country. But I want to tell Imbert, under Kamla Persad-Bissessar, between 2010 to 2015, Kamla's budget deficit was only $14 billion. For the last 7 years, Imbert and Rowley's budget deficit in total has been over $63 billion, ladies and gentlemen. So for the last 7 years, Imbert and Rowley has run up a deficit to the tune of $63 billion. That alone could run this country for 1 year. Imbert is now asking you to give him $3.8 billion more to the 57 and will carry up his budget to $61.5 billion. Back in 2014, Dr. Moonilal, as part of the cabinet, Kamla Persad-Bissessar and her team bought a budget of $62 billion. When they bought that budget for $62 billion, the whole of Trinidad and Tobago got vexed with Kamla and Dr. Moonilal. The whole of Trinidad and Tobago. Today, Imbert is bringing a budget close to $62 billion and no one says nothing. But I want to tell you, when Kamla was here, what you got for $62 billion? You got every child in this country got a laptop for $62 billion. You got houses under Dr. Moonilal. You got a Cuba hospital under Kamla. In the south, you was getting a south campus for UWI for your children. You got box train. That is what you got for your $62 billion. But under Imbert and Rowley, what have you gotten in the last 8 months from this government? Nothing. All we getting is grief. I asked a partner of mine, in 2015 under Kamla, a loaf of kiss bread was $11.50. A loaf of kiss bread today is $19. Right? A bottle of oil was about $49. Now today is $95. That is what Imbert and you are. You keep that. You can't. Imbert is also asking you to pay $800,000 in lawyer fees to 2 lawyers who tried to find a file that was never missing. $800,000 is their bill. And that is ridiculous. $6 million for the Commission of Inquiry into the Paria divers. $6 million they're asking you. And they can't even give a hamper. This government cannot even give a hamper to the families of those folks who lost their lives. That is just wickedness by this government. I want to tell Young, I want to tell Minister Young, I'm waiting for him on Wednesday. I want to tell him, today the gas prices, the world gas price is under $80 a barrel of oil. It's actually $72. I want to say, quote here tonight, before I end, what Rowley told you, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, in the budget in October. The Prime Minister told the country during his budget debate, and I quote, on the 4th of October 2022, if oil drops to $80, premium will drop to $6.28 a litre. Today you're paying $7.75 under Rowley. If oil drops to $80 and less a barrel, super will go to $6.05. You are now paying $6.97. The Prime Minister told the country that once the price of oil drops under $80, the prices of the fuel pump would decrease. During Friday's Standing Finance Committee last week, we asked the Minister of Energy, tell this country when you and Rowley are going to drop the prices at the fuel pump, because the price of oil right now is $72 a barrel for a considerable amount of time. And we are going to keep up that pressure, so you must ask him. And before I end, I want to ask Rowley. Rowley feels he's the Tiger Woods of golf for Trinidad and Tobago. We all know Tiger Woods, right? I want to tell him, I have a lion in the audience here who's a better golfer than Rowley. And that lion, that golfer, is none other than Dr. Moonilal. He's a better golfer than Rowley. Rowley feels that he alone knows about golf courses. He alone knows about, and I know tonight when Dr. Moonilal come up here, he will tell Rowley where the golf course really located. So as I close Trinidad and Tobago, tonight we in the opposition reject the persistent mismanagement of our national economy. Stand against the persistent covering up of the true economic reality facing our nation. And most of all, denounce the persistent neglect of the true economic decisions needed to save our nation. We are facing the worst economic crisis in decades. Brothers and sisters, we in the opposition will continue to defend you and stand for you when we debate on Wednesday in the midterm review. We will continue to call for a better way of life, and we will continue to face where you face a cost of living crisis. Tonight I tell you, the only way to save our nation is to remove this wicked PNM at the polls and replace them with a better leader, none other than the Honorable Kamla Persad-Bissessar, who has a vision to rebuild our economy. She has a track record. We have a track record. United National Congress has a track record of economic delivery. That is a team. We are one team. We are one party. We have one leader, and that is the Honorable Kamla Persad-Bissessar. I thank you, and I want to tell the people, stand your ground against this wicked PNM. I thank you.
Everybody was kung fu fighting. Those kids were fast as lightning. In fact, it was a little bit frightening.
Thank you very much, Dr. David Lee. Can the driver of PBL 8529 attend to your vehicle, please? Now, what David Lee forget to tell you, we also built 106 schools. We also built early childhood centers. We built police station. We built fire station. We built the aquatic center, the tennis center. Kamla started the South Highway from San Fernando to Point 14. We started the Arima Hospital. We started the Point 14 Hospital. What Rowley built? He building a golf course in Barbados right now. And they're still saying Kamla can't win. A lady who has given us all that in 5 years. We were the happiest nation in the Caribbean. And all you're still saying Kamla can't win. All you're going with that PNM move along. That lady shows that she cares and she loves our people. She brings to you the baby milk grant. she raised minimum wage, she increased pensions, all these things. What Rowley do? He take away everything Kamla gives to you. So today, I here to share cloth to make dress like crazy in the president's house. If I know, I would have sent my mother to get a piece too. But Saddam is coming, appointed as one of the youngest ever senators in 2017. Saddam Hussein was elected member of parliament for Barataria Sangwa, a fearless advocate in defense of your rights in parliament. His dynamic approach to representation in Barataria Sangwa is exemplary. Please welcome to the Monday Night Report, Mr. Saddam Hussein.
Yeah, this is a message to the nation. Put the guns them down. Cause we want some understand. Put them down. Put them away now. Understand.
Good evening, UNC family. Good evening, UNC family. Thank you very much, Fyzabad, for this warm welcome. MP Lackram Bodoe, Dr. Lackram Bodoe, other members of the parliamentary arm, I see members of the local government arm, officials of the national executive. Welcome to our UNC Monday Night Report, where we report to you the facts, we report to you the current issues, the affairs of Trinidad and Tobago. We report to you on what the government is doing and what the government is not doing. And we also report to you the work of the loyal opposition of Trinidad and Tobago, led by the Honorable Kamla Persad-Bissessar of Senior Council. Trinidad and Tobago, today every single part of Trinidad and Tobago is under the siege of criminals. Nowhere is safe. Criminals are invading your homes, they're invading your places of work, they are killing you, they are robbing you. And what does this government do about that? The Prime Minister says, you sort out yourself, I go in Barbados to play. You go on to play golf. We are under siege by criminals, by gangs. And today, we now have what we call the legal cartel. And I'll get into the legal cartel a little more in more details as I speak tonight. But many of you all who are watching the news today and keeping up with the current affairs, you would have seen that Her Excellency President Christine Kangaloo would have appointed 17 members of the Trinidad and Tobago Bar, attorneys at law, as senior counsel. They have been conferred the award of silk. So they are now senior counsel, 17 members of the local bar. And who selects these people to be senior counsels? You know who selects these people to be senior counsels? It is the cabinet that selects these people. It is Keith Christopher Rowley and his cabinet together with Reginald Armour who will tell Her Excellency who to appoint as silk. So today they have appointed 17 persons as silk, and I tonight cast no aspersion on the character of those 17 individuals. That is not my job. I'm also a member of the bar. But what I have an issue with is the process. Because in 2012, the People's Partnership government would have conferred silk onto members of the local bar. You would have remembered that. And there was public outrage, there was fake outrage in fact. And what did the Law Association do? The Law Association said that we need to reform this process of how we grant silk to individuals. So in my hand, there's a report. This report is the 29th report, 29th Council on the appointment of senior counsel, the silk report dated August 2015. And this report indicated that you needed to have the process of silk done in a more transparent manner. That appoint an independent tribunal, an independent board to determine who will be given this award of silk. And when you look at this report, I just want to read for you, because this is very important. I want to read for you the recommendations of this report. And I'm quoting. It says that it is objectionable in principle for the executive or the head of the executive arm, the Honorable Prime Minister, to play any role in the selection of attorneys at law who are appointed silk by His Excellency the President. This practice must be discontinued forthwith. So this was in 2015. This report is dated August 2015. And I just read you the recommendation that says that the Prime Minister must play no part in this. Do you know who signed off on this report? None other than Reginald T.A. Armour Senior Counsel. So in 2015, Armour is saying, make the process of appointing Silk more transparent, leave the Prime Minister out, forget the cabinet, appoint an independent tribunal, and today he shamelessly, like a hypocrite, appoints 17 members of the inner bar as senior counsel. Total hypocrisy, and that is the double standard of the PNM. We must reject that. What is this? We all know that Armour don't have a good memory, so like he forgot he signed this report to make Silk more transparent, and today, under the guise of the cabinet, they appoint 17 members without this independent tribunal, this independent board. It is shameless hypocrisy. The PNM is practicing shameless hypocrisy. But that is not it at all. What is the other issue is you have to look at what happened. This report was available since 2015. You all know there's an eminent senior counsel in this country called Mr. Israel B. Raja Khan. And Mr. Khan would have filed a matter in the High Court of Justice, CV 2023-00627. And this matter is entitled Israel Khan SC against the Attorney General. This matter was filed on the 7th of March this year, 2023. And Israel Khan is telling the court that an independent process should be developed in terms of appointing Silk. So let us look at the timeline. Israel Khan filed the matter when? In March this year, the 7th of March. The Law Association sent out an invitation for persons to apply for Silk. This email came to the members of the Law Association on the 18th of April 2023. When we look at the Gazette, because this is what you have to look at for the Attorney General to put out the ads. The Gazette is dated the 14th of April. The 14th of April was a Friday. So Friday, the Gazette that we're going to appoint Silks, make your application. On Tuesday, the Law Association says, we want your applications to come in to the Attorney General's office for the appointment of Silk. Do you know when they close off the deadline? They closed off the deadline as the 21st of April. So persons had less than 4 days to apply for Silk in this country. Why there was such a rush? Why did you leave the period open for 7 days only for persons to apply for Silk? And that goes towards a suspicion. Why was this being done with so much haste? Is it because Israel can't file this matter in court? There's an active court matter right now, and they appointed 17 Silk without waiting for the court to give a decision on this matter. That is disrespecting the separation of powers. It is a total disrespect of the separation of powers by this Rowley-led government. And you know what? You know what? Today they come and they grant Silk. The Law Association asked the Attorney General to grant extension from the 21st of April to the 5th of May for persons to put in their application. Up until now, Reginald Armour has not responded. They have not granted that extension because you know why? The cabinet know what is going to happen. They already know who is going to apply. So this process right now is what we have issues with. And it doesn't end there. As I said before, I congratulate these 17 senior counsels. But we also, as the opposition, owe a duty to you to have this matter ventilated in the public. When I look at some of the names that were appointed as Silk on this list, there's one, Terence Barrett, appointed to the board of Angostura as the chairman, collected over $1 million in legal fees. Ronnie Bissessar, $1.3 million in legal fees. Do you know Ronnie Bissessar is the lawyer who representing the Law Association to say, make the process more transparent, but today he got Silk. Rishi Das, over $3 million. You all know a fella called Kerwin Garcia? Kerwin Garcia collected $12.8 million in legal fees. He is who? The husband of the president who conferred the Silk on them today. Colin Kangaloo, the brother of the president, the firm that he belongs to collected over $23 million in legal fees. We have others. Jason Mutu collected millions of dollars in legal fees. Mr. Michael Kwamena, we know who he is. He is who? The personal lawyer of the Prime Minister, made senior counsel today, got $8.5 million worth of state briefs. We have Anthony Vieira. You all know independent Senator Anthony Vieira. Today he was given silk, and he did not tell us that he collected over $329,000 in legal fees. $329,000. But you know, they have a problem when Kamla Persad-Bissessar got silk. Kamla Persad-Bissessar was the first female Attorney General. Kamla Persad-Bissessar was the first female Prime Minister. She was the first head of the Commonwealth. Today they give the first gentleman silk, Mr. Kerwin Garcia. And that is the hypocrisy of the PNM. Today, Anand Ramlogan, thank you Anand Ramlogan, because he filed a series of Freedom of Information applications to get the legal fees that were paid by this government. Look, I have it in my hand. All of the responses here from the ministries. Do you know how much money this government spent in legal fees in the last 7 years? $1.1 billion. Not $1 million, no. $1.1 billion. That is what they spent in legal fees. Faris Al-Rawi, when he was in opposition, walking up and down Port of Spain, quarreling Anand Ramlogan, spending too much money in legal fees, and today his government has spent more money in legal fees than the Kamla Persad-Bissessar administration. And what did we get? Not a single case Faris ever win. Not a single one he won. And that is the issues that we're having with this entire process. As Dr. David Lee told you, they are coming to the Parliament on Wednesday for more money to pay lawyers. More money to pay lawyers. When you look at the allocation just for the Office of the Attorney General, there is going to be an allocation of $250 million in 1 year alone for the Attorney General's office. Over $253 million. That is the highest expenditure in any single year under the Office of the AG for legal fees. And what do we see from this? You are seeing no benefits from this. This government, they are failing. This government has failed us. When you look at the Miami matter in which Armour recused himself, they spent $56 million in that particular matter. And today they have not recovered a single red cent for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Armour continues to lie. And on Wednesday, we have to hold Armour accountable for lying, because he came to the Parliament and said he provided a breakdown of the legal fees where he's coming to ask for more money. Armour did not provide that. Under the opposition, we will hold this Attorney General accountable, because it seems as though his memory is not good. But ladies and gentlemen, my time here has been spent. There are much more powerful speakers to come after me. So I thank you very much, Fyzabad. Hold strong, stand your ground. We will remove this wicked Rowley government and install a UNC government to take care of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. I thank you very much.
Yeah, this is a message to the nation. Put the guns them down. Cause we want some understand. Put them down. Put them away now. Understand. Mr. Marshall, Benjai, what you say?
Thank you, MP Saddam Hosein, young and dynamic. Our next speaker is a UNC stalwart and veteran parliamentarian. He is a firebrand in the House and on the platform, and in a few moments, you would see why. He currently serves as a UNC deputy political leader and is the opposition shadow minister for housing. Please welcome the Member of Parliament for Oropuch East, Dr. Roodal Moonilal.
This is a message to the nation. Put the guns them down. Cause we want some understand. Put them down. Put them away now. Understand. Yo, Mr. Marshall, Benjai, what you say? Hold the fake now.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairperson. Thank you for the kind introduction and the warm welcome in Fyzabad tonight. Political leader, the Honorable Kamla Persad-Bissessar, parliamentary colleagues, members of the National Executive, constituency officers, activists, assembled in your hundreds tonight at Fyzabad. Give yourselves a round of applause. I'm extremely heartened when I look and I see a sea of red in front of me, representing one of the most vibrant UNC constituencies in Trinidad and Tobago, the people of Fyzabad. Tonight we also want to welcome our viewers and listeners on radio, television, social media platforms, those listening in the United States, in Canada. We have our great brother Sukram up there with his team now. We have friends listening in Grenada, in Jamaica, in the CARICOM area, and a very special dear UNC supporter, believe it or not, in Djibouti in East Africa, listening now, where it is 2:30, 2:45 in the morning. Give him a round of applause for that commitment to the United National Congress. Tonight we come to you to bring the issues to you, the people of Fyzabad and Trinidad and Tobago, and those of you across the globe who share an interest in the future of this land. Fyzabad has been the ancestral home of struggle. It has been the center of gravity for the working class struggle. When they struggled here for bread, for peace, for justice. It is in Fyzabad, on the soil of Fyzabad, that we lay the bedrock that the struggle for equality and justice, income redistribution, nationalism, that struggle was born here. Couva and Fyzabad are the 2 points in Trinidad that struggle emerged, that led to our independence movement, that led to our nationalistic movement, that led to republicanism, and that led to the development that we have seen over decades. Tonight, this part of the country has given birth to Buzz Butler. This part of the country gave birth to those trade union leaders, working class leaders, and national politicians who struggled. And it is so that tonight we come to you as a party rooted in that struggle to explain to you some of the issues facing us today, which are not unlike some of the issues that they faced in 1934 and 1937 in these parts. Brothers and sisters, coming up here today, I made 2 observations. I was coming along the Mosquito Creek, and I saw the mosquito crack. 2 years ago, the highway fall down. To this day, Rohan Sinanan has not produced a report on what caused that problem. They have spent in repair, in redesign work, they have spent $60 million, but they cannot provide one public report, not one report on the mosquito crack. They blame us when we were doing the highway. They said, we did a bad job, we didn't do this, we didn't do that. They come on the scene. 8 years later, you do not have a direct highway from San Fernando to Point Fortin. They built the Mosquito Creek there. It fall apart overnight. Some of us went there, including Dr. Bodoe, Victor Roberts, Meru, and others. We went there one morning to inspect, and it was atrocious what happened. And it happened because they were not following policy, procedure, quality management. They were not taking good advice from project engineers, and they squandered $60 million there. When I left the mosquito crack, I came up the road. When I reached Avocat somewhere there, coming down up and down a hill, the driver pulled away. I said, "Boy, what happened?" I reading in the back seat. I said, "What happened now?" He said, "Look, it have a fig tree in the middle of the road. They have a pothole there, and they put a fig tree. And if you wait for Rohan Sinanan to fix that, you will get banana, chiquito, you will get all kind of fig behind there before he fixed that." So we have reached the stage now where they say they want more farming. They probably want you planting the road. The amount of pothole around this country, you cannot recognize the country. Brothers and sisters, every single day, look what is happening. We are getting a daily indigestible array of videos and text messages on robbery, on murder, who get killed. Before I don't talk,
you will have a new video on a murder. If it is one murder, all right, that bad. It could be a triple murder. You leave your house not knowing that you're going home safe. You leave your family not knowing you will see them. Look what is happening in this beloved country. Our soil is stained with blood, because of the incompetent and corrupt Rowley regime. They cannot manage. When we were in government, we had much less crime and murder. They say, oh, you're doing a bad job. Put us, we could fix it. Look what happened today, brothers and sisters. The murder rate has crossed 200 in a short period of time. They cannot fix the roads. They cannot fix the infrastructure. And he going to play golf. I have to ask him, David Lee, what did he shoot on the weekend? What was his score? In golfing terms, what he shoot? Because he might be shooting too. So, brothers and sisters, the Prime Minister has abdicated. He has abdicated his responsibility. He has gone off to Barbados at a time when the murder rate is at its highest, at a time when there's so much volatility in the national community. He leaves. They cannot fix drainage. In my constituency at Chester Street, months and years we are writing the government, ministry, drainage. Every time I write about a particular problem, they say we're studying it. We're studying it. I write again. Alex, they say they're studying it. But by now, them should have a degree studying it. Cannot fix basic infrastructure and drainage. The same thing will apply here. And I want to tell you something, those of us in opposition, Lackram Bodoe and others, we work day and night in the parliament and outside to bring good representation to you. Regrettably, we are not in government. We don't have the resources to fix those things. But when we were there, you all remember, overnight we would fix those problems. Overnight. But we will get back there again. Brothers and sisters, a few issues to raise with you tonight in the short time. I just want to pick up on a point raised by our brilliant young attorney, Saddam Hosein, on this matter of silk. You all saw the news today, you all see the papers. You know, one thing struck me about that. Last week, there was a rumor that they're going to appoint silk. Lawyers getting elevated with a particular acclamation and so on, and an instrument and so on. And brothers and sisters, that was in the news last week. I just got a note. He said, you are sounding very good. Take as much time as you want. So brothers and sisters, it was in the social media last week. There was not a press release. There was not any notification. These ministers quick to make press release and press conference. Nobody says anything. They kept it a secret. They kept it a secret. 2 o'clock today, they went to the president's house and then they announced after the fact, all who get this silk can get that. Now, the first thing I want to make the point very clear. As a lawyer myself, Jolene, I want to make the point very clear that I cast no aspersions on the professional integrity of any of those awarded silk today. I cast no aspersions on the body of work that they have done over years and possibly decades. I cast no aspersions on them. In fact, they, I'm sure, believe that they are deserving of this award. So we cast no aspersions. We make no ill-advised comment about those people. We make comments, well-advised, about certain developments related to today's activity. One, it is passing strange, a real coincidence, that all the lawyers who participate in the PNM election petition of 2015 and thereafter, all of them awarded silk. In one shot, all the lawyers who represented the PNM. That may be a coincidence, I don't know. The next point that you got is that in 8 years, the PNM is there. The PNM didn't come last. They were there 8 years. Didn't give silk an award and so on. Paula May Weeks was the president of this country for 5 years. Anybody get silk? When Paula May Weeks was there, nobody get. But these people who came today, they are deserving. Why you didn't give them last 2-3 years? They are deserving. Give them last year, the year before, when Paula May Weeks was there. As soon as this new president comes and we have raised issues concerning her suitability, whether she is fit for that job, whether you are opening a Pandora box in which worms can come out, we have raised those issues. Among her first task, apart from breaking she foot, I think, among the first task is to give the husband senior counsel. Man to give the brother senior counsel. I mean, I'm surprised she didn't give her sister-in-law senior counsel. I am shocked the dog didn't get senior counsel. Like they're going down Frederick Street and buy a bolt of silk and just start giving out up there like nuts. But it is family. Now it raises an issue. As deserving as those persons may be, as deserving, the issue of nepotism and favoritism are real issues. They are perceptions. This legal cartel, there are real perceptions. When we were in power, I tell you this, and it is the truth. It is the truth. Kamla Persad-Bissessar was the Prime Minister. When we go to cabinet, we could not have our spouse, our children appointed to a board because they say that is a cabinet member. So if you use a cabinet member, your spouse, your brother, sister, as qualified as they are, they can't get nothing because we said we have to observe this high ethical standard. Jolene John will tell you, my brother is a contractor. He started to do construction work when George Chambers was Prime Minister. He do construction work. Every week the media asks Jolene John, Minister Moonilal, brother, get any contract yet? He get any contract yet? Before they eat breakfast in the morning, they want to find out, Moonilal get any contract yet? That is how they judge us. That is how they judge us today. Husband, Saddam, what is the title he carries? First gentleman. Now to tell all this, I mean, that title, that don't mean he is the first gentleman. There's a title called First Gentleman. It's a title. Is it a title? It is the title, yeah. Good. First gentleman, because I get confused myself. Brothers and sisters, the first gentleman is a recipient. The brother, what is this? What kind of society are we going to build? So when the next government come now and we decide, well, you don't have to be a lawyer in the first place. We could pick up anybody and make them senior counsel. Where is it? They have any law governing senior counsel? Well, some government could come and say, well, forget that now. We pick up anybody. They are opening a dangerous door by doing things like that. And we warn the country. This president, brothers and sisters, goes to Mayaro. Go to Mayaro every weekend. Taught the whole special branch and police to go up Mayaro because they have to protect this special, the lady up there. They just go and plant a flag in the sun like a jandi every week. They plant a jandi there. And the police remain there. They have no facilities for the police. We had a picture somewhere. No facilities. The police in a tent outside. You know when somebody dead overnight, quick, you throw up a tent in the yard? They throw up a tent like that and have police there without facilities, without nothing. And every week, you call the police at a robbery next to you, bandit, come in your house. 30 minutes the police can't reach. All of them in Mayaro guarding the president. Well, now they're going to be guarding senior counsel. So, brother, husband, I surprised Noel Garcia and get senior counsel. Better than he, I thought Anthony Garcia might have get it too. At the rate they're going, I think them is Sarabai. Huh? At the rate they're going, and we condemn this not because of the persons, I make the point again. I have great respect for many, if not all of them. I know them. Most of them I know. And Mr. Kangaloo and Mr. Garcia and so on, we know them. I cast no aspersions on them at all. But it gives rise to the perception of nepotism at the highest office of the land. And that is something one should avoid. Brothers and sisters, the other point I make, an independent senator, a man appointed to go in the Senate, and his job is to be critical of the government. And the opposition too, by the way. His job is to be impartial. Today, he's given a gift. It is tantamount to a gift, an award bestowed by a decision of the Prime Minister. When this man going to the Senate now, is he expected to be independent, impartial? Well, we didn't expect him before, but is he expected? Where he has received an award given by the cabinet. I call upon Mr. Anthony Vieira, independent senator, to reconsider today whether or not you should submit your resignation to Her Excellency the President and remove yourself from the Senate of Trinidad and Tobago. It is unconscionable that the cabinet can give you. How much? Yeah. Brothers and sisters, it is inconceivable that someone could be an independent senator and while sitting there receive this gift, receive award from the cabinet of Trinidad and Tobago, brothers and sisters. The other point I want to make before I come to a close relate to the crime symposium. You know, 2 weeks ago they had a crime symposium in Port of Spain, Hyatt. Keith Rowley told us last week, he said the cost of that is $1.5 million. $1.5 million. He said that last week. This week, Stuart Young stand up, he said, hold on, it's not that, you know, it's $3.4 million. Brothers and sisters, you know what they pay for the crime symposium? Let me tell all you this. Brothers and sisters, the crime symposium, let me hear that, $3.4 million. Here's some of it now, man. Total cost, 3.4. So far, like so far. $1.5 million, the Prime Minister said he was wrong, by the way. He didn't know what going on. This is a Prime Minister, don't know nothing that going on, you know. He got, when people threaten bombs to blow up schools and terrorize children, he don't know who sent that. He said, that might be the UNC. You know that? Brent Thomas, kidnapped, abducted in Barbados. He said, I don't know nothing about that, you know. 6 months ago that happened, he don't know. But you know who tried to bomb up the children? You know that one a few days ago. But here it is, invitations, $5,000. Dinner, 2 days, them people say 2 days, $60,000. Team uniform, $25,000. What team uniform is that? What is that, Playway? That's a cricket side or something out there. Event planner, $140,000 for 2 days, I tell you all, you know. Display, $50,000. Website, $100,000. Social media, a next $100,000. That must be for the pink-haired lady. I think that's for the pink-haired lady who does write that said that rubbish. Photography and video editing, $200,000. Design, signage, banner. Here is one. Banners cost $800,000. What banner you put up there? David banner? What? And we didn't see a banner. Meals for the secretariat. Now, this is not dinner before it. Dinner is the next thing. $50,000 for the secretariat meals. The national secretariat, $30,000. Contingency, $300,000. Brothers and sisters, $3.4 million in 48 hours they blow. Blow it away, man. This is what they do. I want to tell them something. The people in Ramai Trace, and I've seen a couple of them here. The people in Ramai Trace hire private security motorcar with flashing light. It costs them to put in a street or two, $5,000 a month. Do you know them solve more crime than the crime symposium? They stop 2 or 3 bandits in the area, and that $5,000 a month, they paid for that in a few streets. This is the thing. So they solve more crime in Arapuchis than you solve with the crime symposium for $3.4 million. Brothers and sisters, we are down a slippery slope. I tell you, we are down a slippery slope. To make matters worse now, and I want to come to this matter, the Brent Thomas matter, have you all been following that? You have been following that a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago was arrested and abducted in Barbados according to a judgment. Prime Minister said, me I know nothing about that one. And then he said, hold on, I know something. That happened before. But he didn't know about this one. You know it happened before. Brothers and sisters, do you know the judgment ruling was that his constitutional rights were violated? Violated. The search warrant were illegal. The abduction was abduction. It was not arrest and extradition. It was illegal. As a consequence of this, do you all know that this citizen of Trinidad and Tobago in his 60s, I believe he is, has medical conditions and so on. His visa from the United States was revoked. Imagine that his visa was revoked. He cannot step foot in the United States, not even for life-saving medical attention. Could you imagine how criminal that is? You have a heart condition or something. You want to go to Miami for treatment which you could pay for. That's not the issue. And the United States revoke your visa because you were arrested in Trinidad on some fraudulent charges, cook-up charges by the PNM. That is where we are now. I am told, reliably informed, that the Secretary General in CARICOM, based in Guyana, has indicated that she knew nothing about it. They commandeer a plane of CARICOM, forget RSS and things, it's a CARICOM thing. They commandeer a whole plane, kidnap a man, and the Secretary General said, me know nothing about that too, you know. I want to ask them, who know? Who know the doubles man? We should actually pull a revender outside if she know. Because the Prime Minister don't know, CARICOM don't know, the regional security system don't know, but you kidnap a citizen in Barbados, brothers and sisters. Erla Christopher, let me get to her quickly now. Erla Christopher. I want to wish her an early happy birthday. In case you didn't know, next week Monday is this beautiful lady's. I saw her at the fashion show with her nice fancy hat. And it is her birthday on Monday. But on Monday, she turned 60 years old, I think. Whatever she turned, she retired. She is due to retire. Who is the Commissioner of Police next week, Tuesday? Who is the Commissioner of Police next week, Tuesday? The woman is going to retire as a police officer. Rowley wants to go to Cabinet, pursuant to Section 75 of the Police Service Act, to extend her for 1 year as a police officer. So you see what has happened here? First time in the history of this country, a cabinet has a direct reign, has a direct hold around the neck of a commissioner of police. Normally, a commissioner is appointed, they are responsible to the Police Service Commission. When you are appointed on contract, you get 3 years, 4 years, whatever, that is your contract. This commissioner got a little 10 days before, and now she's beholden to the cabinet for her appointment to continue in office. So she will do anything, or she might refuse to do anything because her appointment is due. So she announced to the country, I set up an investigation into this Brent Thomas matter. You know what is amazing? The unit in the police service that was involved in that illegal abduction is called the Professional Standards Bureau. Now that is the end of all irony, that a unit called the Professional Standards Bureau broke the law. Only in Trinidad and Tobago. But the head of that is woman senior superintendent Martin. Is a senior superintendent, a woman. Who is investigating this unit? That is the question, because you need to get a rank above senior superintendent to interview a senior superintendent. We cannot pinpoint one assistant commissioner of police who is in charge of this. I asked Erla Christopher today, announce the team of men and women who are investigating the Professional Standards Bureau so we can have some confidence or faith in their investigation and findings. Because you cannot shove it under the carpet, brothers and sisters, you cannot shove that under the carpet. And brothers and sisters, I told you about crime and so on. They are squandering money as they go along. Have you all seen in the newspaper? There was a case in the AG office. Now let me tell you something I just been caught all the time with defamation, not criminality, defamation. The Attorney General of this country lies not because it is expedient to do so. Some people lie because it's expedient. He lies because it is in his nature. You know, ever meet somebody, they have two choices. And if they lie or don't lie, it means no difference, but they go lie. Sometimes people that say their children like that too, you know. They are congenital liars. Meaning they don't make a difference if you tell the truth or lie, but they go lie. Apparently this Attorney General is a congenital liar. He came to the parliament last week and told Saddam, I laid a document with fees and you have it already. You're not paying attention. When Saddam checked the record, he never laid no damn document. He lied again. That's why Saddam called him Limo. We have never come across an Attorney General that is prone to speaking untruths like this man. What kind of man is this that you cannot depend on him? You cannot depend, brothers and sisters. So brothers and sisters, finally, I want to ask you, when I look at this sea of yellow before me, this sea of yellow and bright yellow, I see some people with dark yellow. That means they're in the struggle a long time. We must ask, where is that $800,000? They appoint two men to investigate the missing file, which they found, and they're going with $800,000. So it's not the missing file, it's the missing $800,000 now. The bill, and it is increasing. So brothers and sisters, I leave you with these issues tonight to tell you that it is my great privilege and pride to be in the constituency of Dugnat Meru and other stalwarts in this area, to wish my great brother Lackram Bodoe the best, and to wish you all success in your struggle and in your triumph. And I can assure you, as day follow night, the United National Congress will triumph. We will return to government and we will bring prosperity and opportunity to you, the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Long live the United National Congress. Long live the Honorable Kamla Persad-Bissessar. Long live the revolutionary spirit of Fyzabad. Thank you and God bless you.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a message to the nation. Put the guns them down. Go we want some understand. Put them down. Put them away now. Understand. Yo, Mr. Marshall, Benjai, what you say? Hold fake now. This is what the Benjamins.
So my friends, when Rudy started, he spoke about a sea of red. He was talking about the blood of our citizens that is flowing on the streets throughout Trinidad and Tobago. Just recently, we had a murder in Fyzabad. Last week, Sunday, week before Sunday, there was a murder on the pavement in South Oropuch. So when Rudy say he see a sea of red, is the blood of our citizens that is flowing on our streets. And you know what? More blood flowing on the street than water flowing in your taps. So my friends, I want to recognize a few people here. We have with us here Rudranath Inder Singh, MP for Couva South, Ravi Ratiram, MP for Couva North, Ms. Michelle Benjamin. We have the man who is in charge of getting answers for Balize House, Rodney Charles. He hasn't gotten those answers yet because Rowley say he not answering that. Let us all rise and welcome our political leader, our next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago.
I can't wait.
Let's give a Fyzabad welcome to our political leader, our next Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you very much, friends. So I was making the point that Rodney Charles, the Member of Parliament for Naparima, have the job of getting answers for the cost for Balize House. And Rowley say he not answering that, because if he answer that, we will have to build an air-conditioned jail for the whole PNM. We also have with us here our sister Jerlene John. Give it up for our sister Jerlene John, our senator. We have visiting us the councillors of the Grandi Corporation. We have the chairman of the Princestown Corporation. We have the councillors from Mayaro, Rio Claro Regional Corporation, Pinal Debe. We have our SRC councillor, Dinesh Sankar Singh, our vice chairman, Chanarde Ramadar Singh, Derek Colin Bowen, councillor, Javed Mohammed, and councillor Shankar Tilak Singh. And I am your humble servant, the protest man. So, our next speaker, a gentleman who I show every single person, if you know him in the political field, you know him in the medical field. He previously served as the chairman of the Southwest Regional Health Authority during the Kamla Persad-Bissessar administration and assisted in realizing her vision of a modern public health sector for all citizens. Elected to serve a second term in 2020 general election, please welcome to the UNC Monday Night Report our Member of Parliament for Fyzabad, Dr. Lackram Bodoe, who will make a better health minister than Terence Dial Singh.
Yeah, this is a message to the nation. Put the guns them down. Cause we want some understand. Put them down. Put them away now. Understand. Yo, Mr. Marshall.
Thank you very much, Councillor Meru, for that introduction. The political leader of the United National Congress, the Member of Parliament for Siparia, and the leader of the opposition in the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago, the Honorable Kamla Persad-Bissessar. And let's show her Fyzabad welcome again. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome all. It is so good to have you out in your hundreds here tonight. And as I look along, I see a sea of yellow, Rudy, to examine the many issues affecting you, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. We are happy to welcome you to Fyzabad as the United National Congress continues its public meetings throughout the country to raise the issues and to prosecute the issues that affect all of you, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. A special welcome to my fellow speakers on the platform tonight, to fellow parliamentarians that's here. The chairman would have outlined who are here, so we have people here from Stanley Grandi, from Mayaro, and I want to say a very special welcome to Fyzabad. We are very happy that you've traveled this long distance to join us here. And of course, the constituency executives, our activist friends, and all those joining us on the various media platforms. Brothers and sisters, here in Fyzabad, we have our fair share of the problems facing citizens, as in the other parts of the nation. We have the issues of rising crime, poor infrastructure, unemployment, local government underfunding, and I'll say a few words about the Siparia Regional Corporation in respect to this as I go along. And of course, one of the biggest challenges, and which I want to speak a little bit about tonight, are the challenges that many of you, not only in Fyzabad, but throughout Trinidad and Tobago, face in terms of accessing health care, the issues you face, and you would have faced, when you try to access health care in our hospitals. So, ladies and gentlemen, before I do that, I just want to deal very briefly, because I know you're here to listen to the political leader. She just arrived, I'll give her a few minutes. I know you're here to listen to her, but I just want to deal briefly with just a few issues in Fyzabad and a few issues in the health sector. So, in the constituency of Fyzabad, it appears almost as if this PNM government wants to isolate Fyzabad from the rest of the nation. Why do I say that? It's a challenge to get into Fyzabad. My colleague, the MP for Urupuch East, mentioned the challenge in the creek, in the Mosquito Crack. But again, we have a challenge if you are trying to get into Fyzabad from the highway, you have to take the Delay Road. That's in a terrible state of disrepair. There's a completed Mondesi to Pepper Village bypass, which is completed and is yet to be connected. when that is open, if it is opened under this government, that can save your journey to Fyzabad by some half an hour to get into here. And of course, that will open up many opportunities in Fyzabad. We have the issue, again, as you come on, Rudy, you would not have seen it in the dark, but we have the issue of the collapsed Wassa water main, which has fallen into the Godino River, and which remains after 6 months to be repaired. This is something that happened on the 18th of October. A question was raised in the Parliament on the 23rd of January. The minister responded that the tendering was in process and work is expected to commence the end of February. But this government, you know, like all the promises they make, they never keep any promise, and that work is yet to be started. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to address briefly some of the issues with the Sipari Regional Corporation. Councillor Jason Ali would have mentioned a few of those and the other councillors. And just to refer to a 5.4 million supplementation that was received in the mid-year budget review just on Friday, and the Chief Whip mentioned the debate on Wednesday. But you know, that 5.4 million supplementation, when I examined it, ladies and gentlemen, it will not make your lives better here in Fyzabad or within the boundaries of the Sipari Regional Corporation. None of this is going to repair broken equipment that is at the Sipari Regional Corporation. None of this is to fill vacancies either at the technical level or for the manual labor. And there are several vacancies, you know, at the Sipari Regional Corporation, which is affecting the performance of this corporation. And of course, none of this is to deal with the additional burden imposed on the Sipari Regional Corporation by the closure of Petrotrin. And that is a big issue. Now the Sipari Regional Corporation is burdened with looking after the playgrounds, all the facilities that were formerly maintained by Petrotrin, and the new company replacing Petrotrin is yet to take up that slack. And of course, all of this has been asked of the SRC chairman without any additional allocation of fundings. I also want to make a quick mention of the rush that is being, you know, we see a rush in the Parliament to make Sipari Regional Corporation a borough together with the Digomartin Regional Corporation. Ladies and gentlemen, we have no problem with that. We are all for progress. We will not stand in the way of progress. But the questions that cannot be answered in the debate which is ongoing in the Parliament is, you know, how this change to a borough, you know, will improve the status of the burgesses in the Sipari Regional Corporation. Ladies and gentlemen, as I move on, I just want to touch on the health sector a little. Now, the WHO declaration just a few days ago that the COVID-19 pandemic is no longer considered a public health emergency is welcome news for all of us in Trinidad and Tobago, especially after our population endured so much suffering over the past 3 years. Patients with diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, and cancer suffered terribly during the COVID-19 due to the failure of this government's so-called parallel healthcare system. And I make no apology for going back to this, my brothers and sisters, because now we are seeing the effects of that failure. They fooled the population into believing that this normal healthcare system was functioning whilst they used the Kuva Hospital, built under the partnership government, the Cora Hospital, and the Augustus Long Hospital for COVID-19. But really, was there a parallel healthcare system? What did they do? They diverted the resources from the regular healthcare system into the parallel healthcare system. So what that meant is that those of you who want to get your surgeries done, who want to have your cataracts done, who want to have other procedures done, ended up on a waiting list. And now there is a backlog. In fact, the Simangal report speaks to an NCD debt in terms of the population that needs to be dealt with. So, ladies and gentlemen, the questions really in the health sector is whether this government has a plan to treat with this backlog. This is a big issue. COVID is finished, but we have another issue that we need to deal with, and I'm sure many of you who have been waiting and have been turned back appointment after appointment in the health sector would be wondering when your date for surgery is coming up, when your date for your cataract is coming up, and of course, when your dates for other appointments are coming up. So, I ask tonight, ladies and gentlemen, what is this government's plan to treat with the thousands of citizens who are waiting on these procedures? It appears that the Minister of Health has none. And my colleagues would have mentioned earlier, my colleague Saddam Hosein would have mentioned $1.1 billion in legal fees. And I can tell you that $1.1 billion can go a long way towards fixing some of the problems in the health sector. And of course, this government has to get its priorities right. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I close on the health sector, I want to ask a few questions of this government. And I want to ask tonight, when will the 230-bed Hoover Hospital, fully equipped, be returned to the regular healthcare system, since the Minister of Health is on record as saying that the COVID-19 numbers are on the decline. So we wait eagerly to see when that hospital will be returned for the benefit of the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. The other question I want to ask is, what is the proposed future use of the 50-bed Augustus Long Hospital? I'm hearing nothing about it. This is a hospital that can add 50 beds to the public healthcare system. It was used for COVID. It's no longer required. The question is, what's going to happen to it? I throw that out in the public domain. The other thing I want to ask is, when will the Point Fortin Hospital be fully staffed? The hospital is open, but in response to a question in the Parliament, I was told by written answer that of the 482 positions at the Point Fortin Hospital, only 316 are filled. And of course, this means that the hospital will not be able to function properly. The same situation has occurred at Arima. The question is, when will the Arima Hospital be fully staffed? And the situation at Arima is even worse. Of the 1,134 positions, we have 757 filled, so quite a few vacancies. So my brothers and sisters, as I close, I just want to say, Trinidad and Tobago is in crisis under this PNM government. Crime is a runaway horse. The economy is in crisis. Unemployment and underemployment is high. The health sector is in collapse. In fact, some have been saying that crime and poor health care are the two main killers in Trinidad and Tobago. Hopelessness is at an all-time high in our nation. My brothers and sisters, I want to say to you tonight that the United National Congress remains the only vehicle that can restore hope to our citizens. Ours is a party with a track record of good governance and delivery. Given the opportunity, the United National Congress, under the able leadership of Kamla Persad-Bissessar, will restore sanity to a nation in fear and a nation in despair. My brothers and sisters, our leader and our party has plans to deal with crime, unemployment, issues in the education and health sectors, and the crisis in the economy. I urge you, my brothers and sisters, to remain strong, to remain united, and to remain focused. Do not fall for the rhetoric and blame game of this PNM government. Stand your ground against the incompetence and unjust policies of this government. I urge you to stand in support of our great party and beside our proven leader, Kamla Persad-Bissessar, as we strive to rescue Trinidad and Tobago from its darkest days and to bring good governance once again to our great nation. Long live the United National Congress. Long live our political leader. May we continue to remain blessed. I thank you.
Yeah! 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 This is a message to the nation. Put the guns them down.
So before I bring on the next act, I forget to tell you something, Rudy. We have some projects going on in the Siparia region that they want to make a borough. And they have some work in Labre. The contractors gone on a site visit, and them fellas end up there with gun on the waist like they in Texas. All the contractors run out, and they cancel the project because they can't find contractors to go in Labre to do the work, because fellas down there, 50 of them come with gun and all them will work, and it's a little work for 10 people. Nobody wants to do the job in Labre, so PNM's constituency suffering too. So I have the privilege of bringing on a gentleman, the voice of the UNC, a man who comes from La Hoqueta Talparo to sing for you, Stand Your Ground, Squeezy Rankin.
House of the Rising Sun.
On the road to victory, yeah. Come on the road to victory. You gotta stand your ground.
UNC.
Don't back down.
On the road to victory, standing strong, and we ain't backing down.
Yeah.
On the fed up of the school, let's dictate and
yeah, so fulfill the ego. These people raise the gas and they laughing, saying how we in riot cats. It's time for we to stand firm and show them right now we upset. So stand your ground, don't if fed up on the crime. The food price is too high, and every 2 months pass, the only raising the gas. All across the nation, it's only home invasion. Proudly like been raised, and only guns in the place. So we don't back down, so we don't back down, so we don't back down, so we don't back down. We on the road to victory. We on the road to victory, people. Everybody, stand your ground.
On the road to victory, you gotta stand your ground. Don't back down.
So we don't back down, 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 so down, so we don't back down. UNC.
If you cut me, you go see blood. And if you squeeze me, you go feel the love. We are one people under the sun, one nation under the law. So who feel the black? Who feel the white? I don't know. But it's set till tomorrow night. Who feel the wrong? Who feel the right? Come and go. And all who feel the too bright, let me jump up, let me wind up, party non-stop. Ramaje dingo lekel kete, we come to play mass. Every creed and class, don't let nothing pass. Lackram TV, all the love inside away.
First woman Prime Minister, first woman Attorney General, first woman to chair the Commonwealth of 54 nations, first woman opposition leader. Welcome KPP Plus, solid everywhere.
Lackram TV, all the love inside away.
What a lovely Fyzabad welcome to all of us. I'm very happy to share some time with you tonight. But before I do that, let me thank all the speakers before me that did a marathon tonight. Give a round of applause to all our powerful speakers. Friends and family of the UNC here, and those who are listening on the airwaves. I want to really thank all of you who gave tremendous support. Last Sunday, when we opened the headquarters and we had our interfaith service, was tremendous upliftment and inspiration for all of us. So I want to play a song for you. Is that okay? Can I please? Can I play a song? Will you sing with me? I will not sing in the mic because Greg, my husband, Dr. Greg said, Kamla, never sing in the mic. But if you sing, I will hear you. So can I get the song? I'm DJ. And this is a song of the goodness of God.
I love you, Lord, for your mercy never fails me. All my days I've been held in your hand. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, I will sing of the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful, and all my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, I'm gonna sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice. I love you. You have led me of the goodness. Your goodness, your goodness, your goodness is running after me. Oh, your goodness is running after, with my life laid down, I surrender now, I give you everything. Yes, your goodness is running after, your goodness is running after, surely goodness and mercy, yes, running after. With my life laid down, I surrender now. Hallelujah. Your goodness is running after. Glory be to your name, oh God.
At this time, there's so many persons who have pain because a dear one has died. The crime in the country is horrendous. There are those of us who have personal pains because of loved ones in our own families. So if I'm a little emotional tonight, you will forgive me. But I share this song because it gives me tremendous inspiration, because God is great. We believe in the goodness of God. I want to share with you, our forefathers had an attitude, a winning attitude, in spite of all the pains, the trials and tribulations. They complained, but they never really complained. They just got on with their work through all the trials and tribulations. And our forefathers, regardless of whence they came, Africa, out of India, out of China, out of Europe, Asia, wherever they came from, they just got on with the work through all the trials and tribulations. And they made a foundation for a better life. So look at our MP, your MP here, Dr. Bodoe. His father, may his soul rest in peace. His father sacrificed and sent him to become a doctor. I'm speaking of those who came before us, preparing a foundation for us, as we must now prepare a foundation for those who come after us. And therefore, look at Saddam, MP Saddam. His parents ran a roti shop to send him to school to become the great lawyer that he is, MP Saddam. Look at MP Moonilal. You may not know his story. You may not know the trials and tribulations of his family. I heard him speak tonight about they were looking when Moonilal get the contract. Moonilal, you have the contract, you are the MP for Oropouche, and you take that and work well. So look at him. His big sister, she helped him become what he is today. And so I'm saying, those before us gave us a foundation, that we must now build a foundation for those to come after us. Look at Senator John. Look at Senator John. Her grandfather was a fisherman catching fish in Charlottesville, am I correct? And her grandfather and her parents, her mom, who is always, give her mom a round of applause, she's always with us. And they built a foundation that is centered to school, that she has become what she is today. Give her a round of applause. And all of us, look at MP Lee. Look at the story of MP Lee's parents and your family. They all had a winning attitude. They work for the improvement of others, and they believe always in the good of God. So to all our families, we are on their shoulders. Let's give all of our fathers, all our families, a round of applause. Time will not permit me, but I can tell you, MP Rodney's 4 parents, they also worked hard to make Rodney the great person he is. I can talk about MP Ratiram. I can talk about MP Michelle Benjamin. I can talk of all of you as MPs, as councillors, as senators, and just as normal, God-fearing human beings that we must give praise and thanks, as I say, to those who gave us the foundation to do well in the world today. You know, there's one thing we know for sure. The champions of your great party, they have taught us this. It is your tradition to grow whatever you put your heart into. Our foreparents did it. Grandparents, parents, they did it. And today, you are doing it now. If it's your family, you will grow opportunities for your children's education. You will grow opportunities for your spouse's better health. You will grow opportunities for your in-laws' business. You will grow opportunities for everyone to have an equal space in this place we call our home. If it's your job, you will start with one truck. You may start with one waka. You may start with one brush and cutlass. I remember in my family, my grandparents had brush and cutlass, or a grass knife, cutting grass. Little child waking up in the morning with them. Rudy smiling, you did it too. 5 o'clock you're waking up with grass. For what? The cow. People stop minding cows. We always, you remember that? Many of us, you always had milk because almost, who could do it? You had a cow in your backyard somewhere. And if you didn't have it, you probably had some chickens in your yard. And if you didn't have that, you were planting bodi and baji and baigan. So we were self-sufficient. Our forefathers do it, we can do it too. So, grow opportunities. I got some water. And so if it's your job, you will grow that job. If it's your religion, you will grow that religion. And if it's your will, if it is a foundation you will build, you will grow congregations. And we together must grow communities in our neighborhood where we live. And if it's your party, you will grow support. And there's a word for people like these who do this work. They are called winners. You are your party's winners. Every single one of you contributed to us being winners of over 300,000 votes. Did you know that? Every one of you contributed to us being winners. Every one of you is a winner of our 19 seats. Do you agree? Every one of you. We need everyone. And every one of you will use your natural winning drive to win wider support for our great party. No one from anywhere in our country who looks at how you have grown your family's well-being can ever call you anything else but a winner. So today I want you to rebrand yourself and your thoughts because we are all winners in our own right. Do you agree? Are you a winner? Will you be a winner on the road to victory? Teach your children. Wear that on your chest. And can you say it with me? We are winners. We are winners. Say it with me. We are winners. And the UNC is a winner. Put that on your chest, as I say. Bolt it to your chest and wear it UNC and proud. Because if we don't do it, who will do it for us? If you are UNC and you cry every night, every day and every night because somebody tells you something, every day in this life there's someone who will speak you. True or not true? But every day in this life there are many who will say you are a winner. We are winners. Teach your children that winning against any obstacle is embedded in our DNA, in the DNA of our foreparents, DNA in the world, in Africa, in India, in China, in the Middle East, in Europe, from all these great nations, we came to build a great nation here in Trinidad and Tobago. So I want to uplift you a bit because I'm a little down. You know, I had a little mishap in my family. Forgive me. But I always think and believe in the goodness of God. You are winners. Your children will be winners. Your grandchildren will be winners. And so always have that mindset. First, you have to believe it. And then, Ravi, you have to make it happen. So God bless you as I give you these words of inspiration and tell you, who dead, dead. Who live, live. But lazy Rowley must go and play golf. Who dead, dead. Who live, live. But lazy Rowley must play his golf. We have to move on to the state of the politics in our land. Today, so economic collapses. Rory told you about the biscuit, the cricks, the Mosquito Creek, the collapse of that, collapsing of everything in our country, the infrastructure, the healthcare, the education, everything is in a state of collapse. The very fabric of our society is like it's being ripped and torn apart. But Lazy Keith is on a golf course in Barbados. Saddam told me he just returned. But I'm told that he's coming back for a day or two and he's going again somewhere else. We'll find out as we find out from day to day. So he was on this golf course in Barbados, enjoying a luxury vacation, paid for by whom? We'll find that out too, as we found out how much they paid for the crime symposium that Dr. Moonilal shared with you. And his attitude, their attitude, who dead? Dead. Who live? Live. But lazy Rowley must play golf. Just take a look at the screen, please. I went to a funeral yesterday and they said, when are you going to Barbados, Kamla? So I laughed. What am I going to Barbados for? They said, well, the man gone Barbados, so we think you will go next. You know, our country is in tatters and in tears, but this man is swinging a golf club in Barbados without a care for what is happening. Many are struggling to buy basic food, bread, meat, cheese, whatever it is you buy, tomato, baigan, struggling to buy these things, but our tax dollars are paying for the laziest prime minister in the history of Trinidad and Tobago. Keith Rowley, laziest prime minister. And that is the shamelessness of lazy Keith. We used to say he's incompetent, yes? We say he's corrupt. We say all kinds of things, but I think bottom line, basic line, this is the laziest prime minister in the history of Trinidad and Tobago. This lazy government wants power without responsibility. Yes, they want privileges that come with holding public office, but they do not want the responsibility, the accountability that comes with holding office, and they do not want to work. You know, I find it so shameless. I cannot imagine that people could be so brass-faced and bold-faced, and it really means they're totally shameless. They have no care for anyone. Moonilal told you tonight, the president is giving her husband, whether he's the first gentleman or not, I don't know about that. I don't know about gentleman part of that. Maybe he's the first, but I don't know about the gentleman part. She's giving her husband silk. And that is bad enough. She's giving the brother silk to man. Can you believe it? Shameless people. We warned that this president would be a puppet. But we didn't know she was going to be a puppet for her own family. We thought she would be the PNM puppet, which of course she is as well, because the others, PNM puppet. Now she's a puppet of her family. And Saddam would have told you about the legal fees, did you? That Kerwin Garcia received. that Colin Kangaroo received under this PNM government, and they are just totally shameless. Lazy government. It is clear to every person in our country that lazy Keith Rowley did not want to become Prime Minister to serve people. He wanted to become Prime Minister to tee off on the golf course all over the world. All over the world. Last 3 days was Barbados. Let's see what's happening later this week and the next week. So I say again, laziest government in the history of Trinidad and Tobago, led by the laziest Prime Minister ever. We continue to be terrorized by criminals. This lazy government claimed they spent $3 million, was it, on this crime, waste of time crime symposium. You know, Rudy said first they told us 1.5, and then it jumped. Well, I am being told by public officials that there's more in the region of $15 million spent on that crime symposium. Can you believe it? But they are shameless and they are lazy. So they sit in the hired capel, they'll sit there and talk, and nothing gets done. $15 million for a waste of time crime symposium. And if you ask the Prime Minister, he will say, I don't know. I don't have to account. I don't know anything about that. As Moonilal told you, this is a Prime Minister who knows nothing, never knows anything. Our ports have no scanners. Our CCTV cameras are all down. The TTPS does not have vehicles they need to respond to crime. But government felt spending $15 million at the Hyatt to talk about crime was more important than resourcing the TTPS, resourcing the ports. If you want to know what causes crime, go down to the prison and talk to prisoners. They will tell you what caused them to become involved in that life. It would cost your gas money maybe and some of your time to find this out, not sitting in the Hyatt and spending $15 million. So after $15 million, thank you, wasted on crime symposium. Yes, wasted on that symposium. We woke up today to hear from one of our greatest cricket icons, Brian Lara. Brian Lara is in India doing what he does best in the world of cricket. And he took the time and the pain that he had to reach out back to Trinidad and Tobago, the headlines of distress. One of his childhood friends was murdered in a shooting. Let's take a look at what transpired. Please, can we look at the screen?
Then I'm get booted.
Yeah, touch to pick up one first. But she had the pulse out the ball. After she that stay.
This is Trinidad and Tobago today. This is TNT. You know, we say we don't show these things, but I think we need to see it. We need to know the brutality, the viciousness of the criminals out there. And last year, we recorded 605 murders. Right now, last count I had, 200 murders. And the month of May has only just begun. 200 murders. And you know why this is happening? The criminals feel emboldened. The criminals are looking at Hines, saying they could do what they want. They're emboldened. Bandits and murderers see how Rowley and the PNM have taken control, undermine the hierarchy of the TTPS. Dr. Moonilal also spoke about that tonight. What will happen with the Commissioner of Police? You're going to have a Commissioner of Police who is handcuffed to Rowley and the cabinet of the PNM. Will she be able to be independent when her job depends on a cabinet note from Rowley? She doesn't have that security of tenure as other officers do, that they can be independent and be fierce in their job. Her job depends on Keith Lazy Rowley. Her job. Whether she gets 1 month extension, whether she gets 2 months or 3 months or a year, who makes that decision? Not the Independent Service Commission. That decision will be made by lazy Keith Christopher Rowley. And you know the song, you know the word pays the piper, calls the tune. If your job depends on Rowley, then who is your boss? What will you do? Who will you listen to? Whom will you follow? And they'll come every Sunday morning and put up a headline, UNC people going to get locked up. Remember that? When you have a police commissioner who depends on each day of her job on the Rowley cabinet, on Rowley himself, then what's going to happen? So I'm warning you, you know. Today is me, tomorrow is you they're coming for. Today it may be you, tomorrow is you. This is a dictatorship and this is spiraling total out of control. I don't think there's any point of return from what the Rowley lazy government is doing. Bandits and murderers see how Rowley and the PNM have taken control and undermined the TTPS. Sections of the TTPS are under the control of Balijé House. Believe it, you know. You think you're living here and it doesn't touch you. It will touch you today and tomorrow it will touch your children and your grandchildren. So what we do, stand your ground. Do not ever give up, stand your ground. I have a clip here of the Palmyra murder. I think we showed that one already, did we, Kevin? Palmyra murder. Yeah. Papi shot dead in Palmyra. Thank you. So, the caption in this clip is, baffled that someone could just walk into their home and gun down her elderly husband. You know, I talk about home invasion. And this lazy, clueless Rowley, what did he say, Kapil? He said people coming to pick up mango or zabuka in your yard. And you want to get a law to kill that person. No understanding of what people face when this woman and her husband, they just walked in and gunned down the man in Palmyra. Today is him, tomorrow is you, or your children, or your husband. Think of it. It is never, never far away from you. And since I spoke about the Stand Your Ground law, which allows for adjustment of current home self-defense, I have got tremendous support from the public because they understand it. Stand your ground. At the PNM Sports Day last week, Rowley accused me of things I never said. So on top of being lazy, he's also a liar. What's the word? I'm really congenital liar, in addition to being lazy. Well, Rowley, of course. Rowley, yes. Rowley. And they have lie more too, the AG. We'll come to him in a minute. I want to tell you tonight that Stand Your Ground laws will benefit every law-abiding person in our country. Everyone is affected by crime. Crime does not discriminate. Crime has no face and it has no race. It is everyone who is affected by crime in our country. No face, no race. It is every one of us. We are all Trinidadians and Tobagonians. We all have to deal with issues of crime together. That is the only way we will make our nation a better and safer place. I tell you that the current self-defense laws are not adequate. I saw an article by a lawyer in the paper about Stand Your Ground explaining fully that the problem with the application of current law, with particular reference to householder cases, they lack a clear and transparent application of the current law. And all I'm saying, let's clarify that law, that when you're in your home, in your castle, you stand your ground for anyone invading your home, coming to do ill and evil to you and your family. I will not back down and stand your ground long. I will not back down. And if it is, we have to wait that we form the government, because this government does it clearly. They have no interest in stand your ground laws. None. Because they think it is designed for a man coming to the yard to pick mango and zabuka. We are talking about invading your home, not your zabuka tree, not your mango tree. They are in your face, in your house. Look at what happened. That owner, mini-mart owner, set on fire. Can we put that clip up, please? This is what is happening everywhere. We cannot turn a blind eye. Please put up the clip with the mini-mart owner set on fire. Do we have it? A proprietor was set ablaze during a robbery at his business place on Friday, recovering from his injuries. So imagine you set a businessman on fire. Imagine the PNM has abandoned innocent law-abiding persons for the mercy, and I say, mercy of the criminals. Stand your ground. I ask you to stand with the UNC as we stand our ground against this wicked and lazy, corrupt government. And then we come to the legal fees that others spoke, but I want to do it a little differently to share with you. So while the criminals are running rampant, sections of the police are becoming a PNM party group. You know where your money is going? Is going to PNM eater food lawyers and grovelers. The last time I talked about PNM eater food lawyers, fellas vexed, they cussed me all over in town. I am not afraid of anybody being angry with me. I will stand my ground because it is true. Some of them groveled for the worst AG in our history, Reggie Limo. Someone told me they were crying all over the place that Kamla called them eater food grovelers. I am doing it again tonight, these eater food grovelers, and I'm going to name some of them. The report in the Trinidad Guardian, PNM spent, Saddam told us, over $1 billion in legal fees since it came into office. You cannot imagine what $1 billion is, how much that is. I think the only person who could do that is the only honest Indian in the PNM. How much dollars it have in a carry box, you remember that? So he could probably estimate $1 billion, my mind boggles how much 1 billion, as others would have told you, how much we could do in the health sector, Dr. Bodoe, how much we could do in the education sector, in every sector for the benefit of people. So let's get on to these eater food lawyers. That report. And I want to thank legal luminary, Ravi Balgobin Maharaj, for filing the Freedom of Information application. No one else, if he didn't do it, we would not know. I think we have a picture. Oh, there's the legal luminary. Give him a round of applause, Ravi Balgobin Maharaj. Special thanks to you, Ravi, for your constant efforts for transparency to help us get information. So here we have the report in the Guardian now. We can bring that up. And let's look at the data from that Guardian story about the fees. Do you know who got the highest legal fees? Do you know which eater food lawyer got it? Well, that man's so vexed with me since I talked last time. So after tonight, don't be surprised by anything that happens. Russell Martineau and Company, $46.6 million. $46.6 million. But I don't even know what $1 million look like. Imagine one man and his company. Legal fees, $46.6 million. And this is a lawyer. When the Law Association had a motion of no confidence in Limo AG, there's a lawyer, some say, oh, he just make a mistake. He's a good boy, nice boy. You know why? Because you're paying him, Martineau, $46 million. You had to be a good boy. He had to be a good boy. The former AG paid it, and this AG is continuing to pay it. So what will Martineau do? Eat her food and say, oh, Reggie Amo, what a nice boy. What a nice person. $46.6 million worth, Ronnie, of being nice. Next, Fyzabad Hussein, $28.5 million. Folks, people, can you even imagine? Fyzabad Hussein, the personal lawyer handpicked by Faris and continuing by this AG, $28.5 million. Third, Deborah Peak, $24.7 million. Claude Denbo, $22.8 million. Gilbert Peterson, $18 million. Eat food. Gilbert is a lawyer with the Commission of Inquiry into the Paria. He was the lawyer for Paria, remember? Gilbert Peterson, given a bunkering contract by the PNM government. Gilbert Peterson, $18 million. Sina Jairam, $19 million. Douglas Mens, $10 million. Junior council lawyers also collected money, fees. Amira Rahman, $13.8 million. Are these numbers bubbling your brain? Or is it just passing over you like the wind or the breeze blowing? Netram Kaulesap, $12.6 million. Ravi Rajkumar, $12 million. Tamara Tulsi, $8.1 million. Vanessa Gopal, $7.8 million. You think it will stop? It doesn't stop. It continues. Ramendra Punwasi, $7.8 million. Ravindra Nanga, $7.7 million. Rishi Das, $6.7 million. Rafael Ajoda, $4.4 million. Andrew Dalip, $3.6 million. Terence Barrett, $2.8 million. So among those people receiving monies, guess whom? Mr. Limo himself. You know how much he got? AG Limo. Reggie Limo, I think his name is Reggie. He collected $17.5 million. $17.5 million. And out of that, during his time as AG, because he just became AG, he collected for back fees $3.2 million. Paid himself, of course, yes, paid himself. So they are shameless. They are lazy and incompetent, but they are collecting the paisa, as we say. Fyzabad people say paisa, I think. They are collecting the monies. Junior lawyers in Amos chambers. Vanessa Gopal and Rafael Ajoda collected a total of $12.2 million. Juniors in Amos chambers. You see, if you think this thing is about you and the people of Trinidad, this is about their friends and their family. 12.2 million. That data that Ravi Maharaj got for us does not include expenditures for two ministries, the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Energy. So it's even more than the 1 billion that we are talking about. And I'm told that they've taken these ministries to court to find out how much they spent. But the report also tells us something else about the first gentleman, Kerwin Garcia. You all know that name? He is the husband of Her Excellency, the President of Trinidad and Tobago, Kerwin Garcia. He collected $14 million. And today we are told that he is going to be given silk. So if he got 14, that will go to 2 4 8, 28. It will double when he gets that silk. Collected that. Fitzwilliam Stone, Furnace Smith and Morgan, you don't know who they are. They're a very great big law firm. They collected $23 million. And why I'm telling you that? Because that is the law firm where the brother of the president who gets silk or will get silk, that's where he works since 2000. $23 million is going what? Can you believe it? The husband and the brother. 23 million for the firm of the brother, and 14 million for the husbands last year. I ask tonight, will the president's husband and brother continue to get millions of dollars in state briefs, eating our food from taxpayers' money? The report also states Roger Kewal Singh, you remember that name? Roger Kewal Singh, the lawyer who was on the disgraced Bliss-Sipasad Service Commission, Police Service Commission. How much did he get? He got $18.2 million. $18.2 million. And by the way, he was also the lawyer for a fellow named Vincent Nelson. You remember him? Vincent Nelson, who was the star witness in the collapse case against former AG Ram Logan and former Senator Ram Dean. So he was representing this Nelson man. But in the meantime, he collected from the government, from the taxpayers, $18.2 million. What a tangled web that is. This PLM feels, thank God, a UNC government passed the Freedom of Information Act. Thank God. Let's give Jack his jacket, and let's give credit to a very brilliant former Attorney General, Ramesh Lawrence Maharaj. I hold no brief for him. I'm sure he holds no brief for me either, but we give Jack his jacket and give Ram his kudos as well. So that FOIA, the Freedom of Information passed, that's how we have all of this. Kewal Singh was paid over $5 million. In addition to the 18.2 now, moving along, he was paid over $5 million for services he rendered to Nelson, King's Counsel Nelson. And as we know, Nelson's now suing the government, meaning us, the taxpayers. So while the PNM is undermining the rule of law, breaching the constitutional rights of citizens, the PNM eat a food grovelers, they run away with the cake, as we say. They run away with the treasury. They run away with your taxpayer dollars. So don't get fooled by these grovelers. They're eating a food, but they always want to shamelessly pontificate on others. Again, join me in commending Ravi Bhargavan Maharaj for getting this information to put it out in the public. And you know, the funny thing with this $1 billion spent, Saddam, they do the work on behalf of you taxpayers, on behalf of the state. Guess what? Most of the cases they do, they lose it. So over $1 billion in lost cases and lost causes. No one in the PNM has a problem with this. But you know, they had a problem when the UNC-led government under my watch, we gave a baby grant for poor mothers, $500 to take away the baby grant. They have a problem with the laptops for the children. They reduced the gate to send out children to university. They have a problem with those things, but no problem in over $1 billion to pay their friends and their family for losing cases in our land. And this is why they gutted the procurement law to facilitate these large legal fees. You remember we passed the procurement law. They have proclaimed it, but they only proclaimed it 7 or 8 years later. Guess what they did? They removed all legal issues from the procurement. So they could continue to spend over $1 billion in money to their friends and family, eat a food. They gutted that law. We had put in legal fees. They took out that section. So now, Rowley, Amor, and all of them lazy, corrupt people in the PNM government, that they could make over $1 billion. I want to commit to you tonight, as soon as you put us back in government, we will return the procurement law to its original form. We will. And as I close, I'm doing well. It's 9:15. I thought I couldn't go through, but we are doing good thanks to your claps and your encouragement. I was sitting there, and when Dr. Bodoe was talking, I said, if we don't clap, Doctor will get tired. So we have to give that inspiration. I thank you for the inspiration you're giving me. So give me a clap. Thank you. And whilst you are screaming and clapping, I get a chance to breathe. So I come back stronger than ever. The Brent Thomas matter, I think others have spoken. Just one part of it, as we discussed, Rudy, that I have a draft letter here which I'll send off, but I'm writing to the Honorable Mia, Senior Counsel, MP, the Prime Minister of Barbados. I'm copying that letter to the Attorney General of Barbados, and I'm copying that letter to the Minister of National Security to find out how it is that if they did that report, that the Barbados TTPS or whatever, maybe not TT, but Barbados police, how they get involved in this thing? How could they do that? Abduct a man, kidnap a man, put him on a CARICOM plane. So I'm writing for answers, and I'm saying in the interest of the people of our two nations, Barbados and TNT, I call upon you, Prime Minister of Barbados, to initiate a full public inquiry into this matter. Now, I don't expect Rowley already say he knows nothing. As you it's one Prime Minister knows nothing about anything. So we can't get Rowley to answer. So we'll go to Barbados. The Prime Minister of Barbados, Mia Motley, my sister, is a brilliant woman. I trust that she will launch a full inquiry into what transpired in the Brent Thomas matter. In conclusion, my fellow members of the UNC, let us carry forth the spirit of our discussions here today. Let us embrace the power of hope. I tell you, do not fear. Kamla and the UNC is here. Do not fear, do not fear. In the face of challenges, it is hope that strengthens our resolve. It is hope which fuels our determination. And it is hope that propels us towards a better tomorrow. We have heard the voices of people. We have heard your concerns. We have heard your aspirations. And now it is our duty as leaders and representatives to address these concerns with sincerity and unwavering dedication. Together, we can build a nation which will uplift every citizen, to create opportunities for all, to foster an environment of unity and progress. I invite each and every one of you listening tonight to join with us next week in Tabakit as we continue our journey towards a brighter future. Together, let us forge ahead, guided by hope and fueled by our shared vision for a prosperous and inclusive TNT. Thank you all. God bless you. And Dr. Bodoe has some swearing in to do, but before you do that, can I ask again, Kevin, can you please play We Believe in the Goodness of God? And ask our MPs to join us, please. And anyone else who would like to join us? Any singers in the audience? As we wait for the song, can we bring the party groups on stage, please? Can we hold on with the song? Can we hold with the song, please? Darren, Stephen, can we bring the party groups on stage, please? There are 7 UNC party groups to swear in. Party groups, please come on stage. And thank you all for forming your party groups. Thank Dr. Bodoe.
And the executive.
And the executive of Fyzabad, please come up. Thank you all, please. the party constitution, the rules and policies of the UNC. You'll have to speak a little louder. To strive my best to maintain the dignity of the UNC, to carry about myself and conduct all business in such a manner to bring pride to my party and in furtherance of the goals and objectives of the UNC. So help me God. Thank you. Can we get the song? You all can stay. You all can stay after the song. Stay on stage and sing along with us.
Let me hear the singing voice.
I want to hear the singing voice. Yes.